Does anybody remember the Dubai Star spill in San Francisco? It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people didn't remember it, because it was a small spill. There was a 3-week communication response. The actual physical response went on past that. I landed on day 1, called down from Bellingham to San Francisco, and already Unified Command would say, our message is this is not Costco Busan. How many remember Costco Busan? Same place. This is the anniversary 2 years after Costco Busan. And the catch is it was on the anniversary, and there was a version to being related to that. Because ironically, well, Costco Busan is one of the best physical responses you'll ever see, and it was one of the best. It wasn't seen that way. That's not what you see if you do a search on Costco Busan. You find Costco Busan disaster, and on and on and on. Because there were communication problems with the Costco Busan spill. And they walked into a whole bunch of issues with San Francisco Bay. So watching that response, and their first concern was, we need to make sure we're not Costco Busan because it was so negative. By the way, how many people read the newspaper story today about the tennis shoe blowout by the Duke basketball player?
Thank you. Oh,
it's like, let's stop. Pardon me?
Just saw a quick thing on the.
Yeah. Let's stop the world. Let's not worry about major concerns. Let's deal with the fact that Nike made a defective shoe. Nike's stock went down 1.6% overnight. If you read the news stories, it's classical disaster reporting. It mentions what happened, mentions the cost of the company, it mentions previous Nike equipment failures. It's almost exactly what you get if you decide to spill something somewhere. And it's funny, it's a universal model. Find out what broke, get good pictures of it, talk about all the times this happened before, and talk about how it's damaging whoever the stakeholders are. So we walked into this and we had some communication challenges because this was such high concern. Some of the challenges were that the Unified Command became tone deaf to stakeholders' concern. Guess what people want to know when you have an oil spill? How much spilled? Unified Command specified that this would not be released. Why would they do that? Well, the reason they did that was because what happened with Costco Busan. Yeah, we touched the bridge. We think maybe 60 gallons were spilled. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 84,000 gallons. They were paranoid about having the wrong amount. They said, we don't want creep. And it wasn't like you could tell a tank, because this was a bunker field and a loading operation. They could not say, well, it's that tank and it's this many gallons. So they were stuck. And by the way, the reason it became known as 432 gallons was because in the middle of the prohibition to release it, somebody in the JIC released it. Somebody said it to a media person. And it's out the door. We'll talk about that on our spokesperson page. Of course, the ship, because it was a bunker fuel loading accident, when you stopped loading bunker fuel, you didn't have any more flow, but you had residual oil. And so they made the decision we need to take the ship in for cleaning. We had to fight with them to talk about the fact that the ship was going to be moved. Because from a response perspective, it's totally sensible to move the ship. We're not arguing for that at all. The problem is, you have an entire bay of people that know the Costco Busan went who knows how far before they knew where the spill was, couldn't find the spill, had to go back and figure out where it was in the fog. Or was the ship just leaving port? Why was the ship moving? So we had to fight to help them understand there are stakeholder concerns you have to address. And sometimes the stakeholder concerns are completely different from operational concerns.